Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. Life is going to put you through some storms, some moments you never asked for, some nights when you wonder if the sun is ever going to rise again. But strength, the real strength, is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning how to stand in the middle of it and still keep walking. I've learned this the hard way. You don't stay strong because everything is easy. You stay strong because you decide that quitting is not an option. Strength isn't built in comfort. Strength is built when you feel pressure, when things don't go your way, when you're praying for one answer and life gives you something completely different. That's when your character gets shaped. Your mindset decides your strength, and this truth becomes clearer every time life throws a challenge your way. When people think about strength, they often imagine muscles, physical power, or the ability to endure pain. But real strength doesn't start in your body. It starts in your mind. Every situation you face, good or bad, is filtered through your thoughts first. If your thoughts are weak, every challenge feels impossible. If your thoughts are strong, every obstacle becomes something believe you can overcome. The situation itself doesn't change. What changes is the story you tell yourself about it. That's why two people can go through the same hardship, yet one feels defeated while the other grows stronger. It isn't the problem that determines your strength. It's your mindset. Your mind is the control center of your entire life. Before you move, before you speak, before you decide, you think. And those thoughts either push you forward or pull you down. When you wake up telling yourself you're not good enough, that nothing works for you, that life is unfair, you're giving away your power. You're handing control to fear, doubt, and insecurity. And the moment you give your mind over to negativity, everything starts to feel heavier. The challenge hasn't grown. Your mindset has shrunk. But when you choose to believe that you can handle whatever comes your way, you immediately shift your energy. You start seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as someone capable of overcoming. That simple shift changes everything, even before the external situation changes. Strength begins with the decision to think differently. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control what you allow to live inside your head. If your thoughts are filled with fear, your life will feel limited. If your thoughts are filled with courage, your life will feel open. A strong mindset doesn't mean you never feel doubt or insecurity. It means you refuse to let those feelings lead your life. It means you hear the negative voice in your head, but you don't obey it. It means that even on your worst days, you choose to hold onto the belief that things will get better, that you will grow from this, and that you are built stronger than the storm you're facing. People often underestimate the power of their own thoughts. They say things like, "It doesn't matter what I think. The situation is still behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape outcomes. And outcomes shape your life. Everything begins in the mind. If your mindset is geared toward defeat, you won't take action. If your mindset is geared toward resilience, you'll push forward. That is the difference between staying stuck and rising higher. When your thoughts align with strength, you naturally develop the courage to take the next step, to try again, to rebuild, to learn, to grow, to push through. A strong mindset becomes the fuel that keeps you going, even when everything around you feels uncertain. Your mindset also decides how you interpret challenges. A weak mindset sees difficulty as punishment. A strong mindset sees difficulty as preparation. When you train your mind to view problems as opportunities to grow, you take back your power. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start thinking, "What is this teaching me?" That thought alone can transform pain into purpose. You stop breaking under pressure because you understand pressure is shaping you. You stop collapsing in frustration because you realize frustration is stretching you. You stop giving up because you know every challenge is building skills, patience, discipline, and understanding that you wouldn't gain any other way. Your mindset decides how far you go, how strong you become, and how well you endure. When you choose thoughts that support your growth, you develop an inner strength that no situation can destroy. This strength doesn't come from luck or talent. It comes from daily mental choices to believe in yourself, to trust the process, to focus on solutions, and to hold on to hope even in darkness. A strong mind becomes a shield, a guide, and a source of power that helps you move through life with confidence. And when your mindset is strong, no situation can truly break you because you've already built your strength from the inside out. Gratitude creates resilience, and most people don't realize how powerful this simple practice truly is. In every situation, no matter how stressful or painful, there is always something you can still appreciate, something you can still hold on to, and that small shift in focus can change everything. Gratitude isn't just about saying, "Thank you," when life is good. Anybody can do that. Gratitude becomes a true force when you practice it during the moments that feel unfair, uncomfortable, or overwhelming. When life hits hard, the natural reaction is to focus on what's missing, what's broken, what didn't work out. Your mind automatically seeks out the negative because that's what pain teaches it to notice. But when you deliberately choose to look for the good, even in the middle of hardship, you transform the way you experience the struggle. You stop drowning in what you lost and start rising on what you still have. Gratitude shifts your internal state from weakness to strength. When you focus on everything wrong, your energy becomes heavy. You feel defeated, helpless, and stuck. You start believing your problems have more power than you do. But when you begin recognizing the blessings that remain, your breath, your abilities, your chances, your lessons, your relationships, your opportunities, your spirit lifts. You realize the situation is not as hopeless as it feels. You're not as alone as you think. You're not as powerless as you imagine. Gratitude gives you the mental clarity to keep fighting and the emotional balance to keep believing. It doesn't erase the struggle, but it strengthens you to face it. Many people think gratitude is just a feel-good idea, something gentle and soft. But gratitude is actually one of the strongest mental tools you can use. It builds resilience because it trains your mind to focus on what's possible instead of what's painful. It teaches you to look beyond the struggle and recognize the strength growing inside you because of the struggle. When you practice gratitude, you're telling yourself, I still have something to work with. I still have something to protect. I still have something worth fighting for. That mindset keeps you grounded when life tries to shake you. It keeps you moving when life tries to stop you. Gratitude also rewires your perspective. Instead of thinking, why is everything going wrong? You begin thinking, what is this moment trying to show me? Instead of focusing on what you lost, you start appreciating what the loss taught you. Maybe it made you wiser. Maybe it opened another path. Maybe it revealed who truly supports you. Gratitude helps you see meaning where you once only saw misery. It helps you find strength where you once only felt struggle. And once you train your mind to see the good in the bad, every situation becomes easier to handle because you're no longer controlled by fear or frustration. You're guided by awareness. When life gets tough, gratitude forces you to slow down and notice the blessings that never left. The warmth of sunlight, the support of a friend, the lessons from your past, the ability to keep going, the moments of laughter, the opportunities you still have. These are things people often ignore until life pressures them to look again. Gratitude changes how you interpret your reality. A grateful heart doesn't pretend everything is perfect. It simply refuses to let challenges blind it from the gifts still present. Gratitude creates resilience because it brings emotional stability. When you learn how to appreciate the small things, you stop spiraling over the big things. You begin handling stress better because your mind isn't flooded with negativity. You begin facing setbacks with confidence because you're rooted in appreciation instead of disappointment. Gratitude creates a space inside you where peace and pain can coexist. You can hurt and still trust. You can struggle and still hope. That balance is what makes you strong. The more grateful you become, the more resilient you grow. Every time you choose gratitude, you strengthen your inner foundation. You teach yourself that no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is always something steady to hold on to. You realize that even in the darkest moments, something good remains a lesson, a blessing, a chance, a reason, a reminder. Gratitude turns hardship into growth, fear into faith, and pressure into perspective. And when you build your strength on appreciation rather than anxiety, no situation can take away your peace. You rise because your heart stays grounded in what is still good, still working, and still possible. Faith is your anchor, and without it, life can feel like a storm that never settles. Every person goes through moments when nothing makes sense, when the path ahead becomes blurry, and the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry alone. In those moments, logic won't always comfort you, strength won't always sustain you, and motivation won't always lift you. But faith gives you a reason to hold on when everything else tells you to let go. Faith reminds you that there is purpose in your struggle, that there is something unfolding beyond what you can see, and that your current situation is not your final destination. When you have faith, you stand differently. You think differently. You endure differently. You don't give up at the first sign of trouble because you believe something greater is guiding your steps. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that the answers will come. It's not about understanding every challenge. It's about believing that every challenge carries meaning. Life is full of setbacks, disappointments, and unexpected twists. If you rely only on what you see, you'll get discouraged every time something doesn't go your way. But when you walk by faith, you learn to trust the process, even when the process feels uncomfortable. You learn to let go of control, not because you're weak, but because you understand you're not meant to control everything. Faith teaches you patience when life says wait. It teaches you courage when fear says stop. It teaches you hope when pain says quit. And over time, that trust becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded no matter how strong the winds blow. Faith transforms your perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you start seeing them as bridges. Instead of seeing setbacks as punishment, you start recognizing them as preparation. Where others see the end, you see a new beginning. And this shift isn't because your circumstances changed. It's because your belief changed the way you interpret those circumstances. Faith strengthens your mind by reminding you that timing is not your enemy. What's meant for you will not pass you by. What's meant to grow you may not feel good now. It will make sense later. Faith gives you peace in the middle of chaos because it quiets the voice that says you're alone. It reassures you that there's a plan working behind the scenes, even when life feels uncertain. People often think faith means sitting back and doing nothing. But real faith requires action. It demands that you keep moving even when you're unsure of the outcome. It requires you to take the step even when you can't see the entire path. Faith doesn't remove fear. It gives you the strength to move through fear. It doesn't remove challenges. It gives you the endurance to overcome them. It doesn't promise an easy journey. It promises that you won't walk that journey alone. And when you combine faith with effort, determination, and patience, that's when doors open. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when impossible things become possible. Faith also teaches you that delays are not denial. Sometimes what you're waiting for is taking long not because it's out of reach, but because you're still being prepared for it. Faith helps you trust the timing of your life, the slow seasons, the silent seasons, the painful seasons. It shows you that blessings delayed are often blessings multiplied. It encourages you to keep believing even when nothing changes, because faith is not built in comfort. It's built in the waiting. It's built in the unknown. It's built in the moments when you refuse to let doubt take over. When life knocks you down, faith helps you stand again. When people disappoint you, faith helps you heal. When your plans fall apart, faith helps you rebuild. It gives you strength that anxiety can't break, hope that fear can't shake, and peace that problems can't steal. Faith doesn't just anchor you, it lifts you. It lights up the dark places inside you. It whispers that tomorrow can still be better than today. And when everything around you feels unstable, faith becomes the one solid place where you can plant your feet and say, I will not be moved. Discipline builds inner power, and most people underestimate just how life-changing this truth really is. You can pray for strength, hope for strength, and talk about strength, but without discipline, that strength never becomes real. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Discipline teaches you how to show up even when you don't feel motivated. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is foundational. Motivation fades, but discipline turns your actions into habits, and habits turn your life in a new direction. Every small discipline choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your inner power. You don't need giant leaps. You need small, steady steps. When you build discipline, you're building a version of yourself that no situation can break, because resilience becomes a part of your identity. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes your character. It's the decision to keep going when excuses feel easier. It's waking up early when your body wants sleep, choosing focus when distractions try to pull you away, and staying committed when your emotions tell you to quit. Discipline is the inner voice that says, I will not let temporary discomfort decide my future. When you live with discipline, you stop being controlled by fleeting feelings and start being guided by long-term vision. You recognize that short-term pain is part of long-term growth. You understand that nothing great comes without sacrifice, and nothing meaningful happens overnight. Discipline strengthens the muscle of patience, persistence, and self-control, turning you into someone who can handle challenges without collapsing. What discipline really gives you is control, not control over life, but control over yourself. You may not be able to predict what situations will arise, but discipline ensures that you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared for whatever comes. When challenges show up, you don't panic, you respond. You don't fall apart, you adjust. Discipline trains your mind to remain steady when life feels chaotic. It builds a kind of mental toughness that doesn't move based on how hard the wind blows. You become grounded, reliable, and strong from within. This inner strength is what helps you face situations that once would have crushed you. Discipline teaches you that you can do hard things, even when they scare you, and that your limits are often far beyond what you imagine. Discipline also creates clarity. When you are disciplined, your priorities become sharper. You start recognizing what deserves your time and what is simply a distraction. You begin separating what feels good now from what will matter later. This clarity is powerful because it stops you from wasting energy on things that don't align with your purpose. You begin saying no more often, not because you're cold or uninterested, but because you understand the value of your focus. Discipline helps you protect your goals from the noise of the world. It reminds you that consistency matters more than speed, that progress matters more than perfection, and that every step forward, no matter how small, builds strength. Without discipline, life becomes reactive. You respond to whatever pops up whatever emotion hits, whatever temptation shows up. But with discipline, life becomes intentional. You choose your actions instead of letting circumstances choose for you. This intentional living is what creates your inner power. You no longer depend on external conditions to feel strong. You no longer collapse when people don't support you or when plans don't go your way. Discipline roots your strength deep within yourself, making you confident in your ability to rise above any situation. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you follow through on a goal, your belief in your ability increases. Self-respect is built through disciplined actions, not empty intentions. And when you respect yourself, you stop tolerating things that drain your energy, harm your peace, or weaken your spirit. You start guarding your potential like something precious. You start treating your time, body, and mind with care because discipline makes you aware of your value. Over time, discipline turns into freedom, freedom from regret, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from excuses, and freedom from the mental prisons that once held you back. Discipline strengthens your inner world so deeply that no external situation can overpower you. It builds the type of strength that remains steady, whether life is calm or chaotic. And with that strength, you become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger from the inside out. The environment you surround yourself with shapes your emotional strength more than you realize. People often assume strength is something you build alone, something that comes only from personal effort. But the truth is, your surroundings play a major role in whether you rise or fall. The people you choose to keep close, the conversations you engage in, the energy you allow around you, all of it either nourishes your spirit or drains it. You can have big dreams, strong faith, and a powerful mindset, but if you stay surrounded by negativity, jealousy, doubt, or discouragement, your strength will slowly fade. Environment is not just about where you live, it's about what you allow to influence your emotions, thoughts, and decisions. A toxic environment weakens you without you even noticing, while a supportive environment empowers you to grow beyond what you believed you could achieve. Your environment is like soil. You are the seed. Even if a seed is healthy, it cannot grow in bad soil. If you place a strong seed in dry, contaminated, or neglected soil, it will struggle no matter how much potential it carries. The same is true for you. If you constantly stay around people who complain, gossip, criticize, or pull others down, that energy will seep into you. Negative environments slowly erode your confidence. They make you second-guess your decisions. They amplify your doubts and silence your strengths. You begin to adopt the mindset of the people you spend the most time with. If they accept defeat, you start believing defeat is normal. If they fear growth, you start fearing it too. This is why protecting your environment is not selfish. It's necessary for survival. A strong environment lifts you instead of weighing you down. When you surround yourself with people who push toward better things, your strength multiplies. Encouraging energy fuels resilience. Supportive voices help you stay steady. People who inspire you remind you of what's possible. When you talk to people who think big, who try, who grow, who dream, the mindset influences you in ways you may not notice immediately but feel deeply over time. Iron sharpens iron. Strong minds build strong minds. When you're surrounded by individuals who are focused, disciplined, and determined, you naturally rise to that level because human energy is contagious. You start holding yourself to a higher standard because your circle demands it, not through pressure, but through example. Protecting your environment also means setting boundaries. Not everyone who limits your life deserves unlimited access to your mind or heart. Some people drain your emotional strength without meaning to. Others do it intentionally. Strength requires awareness. You have to notice who leaves you feeling empty and who leaves you feeling inspired, who encourages your growth and who laughs at your plans, who comforts your weakness and who challenges you to be stronger. Pay attention to how your energy shifts around certain people. Those shifts are signals telling you who contributes to your strength and who quietly steals it. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They allow love, support, and positivity, and while keeping negativity and chaos out. Your environment also includes what you consume, the content you watch, the music you listen to, the conversations you engage in, the news you absorb. All of this becomes mental and emotional input. You can't expect strength if you constantly feed your mind negativity. You can't expect peace if you keep exposing yourself to chaos. You can't expect clarity if your surroundings keep clouding your vision. If you want to stay strong, you must be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Replace noise with learning. Replace gossip with growth. Replace doubt with inspiration. Create an environment that mirrors the life you want, not the life you're trying to escape. The right environment makes challenges easier to face. When you have the right people beside you, you don't carry your struggles alone. Their encouragement becomes your fuel. Their wisdom becomes your guide. Their strength becomes your support. And even during your low moments, you don't feel defeated because your environment doesn't let you fall without lifting you again. A strong environment doesn't remove difficulties, but it prevents difficulties from breaking you. It turns setbacks into lessons, failures into preparation, and challenges into opportunities for growth. Over time, your environment becomes one of your greatest sources of emotional strength. When you choose your surroundings wisely, you create a world that supports your growth, protects your peace, and strengthens your spirit. And when your environment is aligned with your purpose, no situation can overpower you because you're no longer fighting alone. You're supported, uplifted, and grounded by the energy around you. Hope is the silent strength that keeps you moving forward when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It's the quiet voice inside you that whispers, keep going even when your mind is tired, your heart is heavy, and your path is uncertain. Hope is not loud. It doesn't always feel powerful. Sometimes it feels fragile, like a small flame in a strong wind. But even the smallest flame can light up a dark room. Hope works the same way. It doesn't remove the challenges you face, but it gives you the courage to face them. It gives your heart something to hold on to when your hands feel empty. Hope brings light into places where fear tries to build darkness. Hope is not wishful thinking. It's not pretending everything is perfect. Real hope is understanding that even though things are hard right now, the story isn't over yet. It's knowing that struggles don't last forever, that pain eventually softens, that storms eventually pass. Hope gives you a future to walk toward, even if you can't see the full picture. It reminds you that your current season, no matter how difficult, is just a chapter, not the entire book. When you carry hope, you carry the belief that tomorrow can be better than today, that you still have reasons to try, to fight, to believe, and to dream. Life will always test your faith, your patience, and your strength. You will go through seasons where nothing seems to make sense. You will face situations that break your heart, separate you from people you love, or disrupt the plans you carefully built.